Hempco, pioneers and innovators of the finest hemp seed food products. Hemp, the super whole food, removing the mystery with gluten. The origin of today's gluten. Our ancestors noticed animals eating grass and added it into their diet. This einkorn wild wheat had 14 chromosomes. Einkorn mated with other grasses, created emmer with 28 chromosomes, the same wheat spoken of in the Bible. This bread was a common staple food, and emmer mated with other grasses, creating spelt and triticum with 42 chromosomes, getting much more complex. In 1960, there was a population explosion requiring ways to increase wheat yield to feed the populace. A prolific dwarf strain that produced 10 times the yield per acre was produced. Even though it was not GMO, it may have been even worse. This new wheat was made by inducing mutation through sodium azide and other toxic chemicals, and X-rays and other radiations, and crossbreeding, creating a strain called Clearfield. This Clearfield had concentrated amounts of gluten protein, which wreaked havoc on the human population and our food chain. Even our government was aware of these gluten challenges. The gluten itself is a two-part protein: glutenin, which gives dough its elasticity, and gliadin. When ingested, it enters the brain and binds to opiate receptors, causing appetite stimulation and food obsessions. In our food pyramid guide, it's recommended that we eat 60% of our calories from these grains. Even in the food plate design program, it recommends 25% of our calories come from these grains. Yet 30% of the population has sensitivity to gluten, and 90% of the people consuming wheat shouldn't, and here's why. In the 1970s, psychiatrists removed wheat from those suffering from schizophrenia. Suddenly, their condition improved. When they reintroduced it, the conditions worsened. Even hallucinations ensued. ADHD sufferers became hypersensitive with emotional outbursts. Bipolar sufferers became increasingly manic, and anyone with eating disorders became obsessive and addictive. Again, since the 1970s, we've known that gluten has created huge challenges on the human population. By 1985, all wheat came from this semi-dwarf strain, and at the same time, the epidemic of obesity and diabetes began. The carbohydrate in wheat is called amylopectin A, which is highly sensitive to amylase enzymes in our mouth and stomach for digestion. 2 slices of whole wheat bread raises blood sugar higher and more rapidly than 6 teaspoons of table sugar. This is resulting in visceral fat in circulating intestines, heart, liver, and our kidneys. It's very hard on our organs. Even author Dr. Davis explains this in his book, and is what causes wheat belly. Plants have protein called lectins that are toxic to mold, fungi, and insects and function as the immune system. Lectin in wheat is called agglutinin, a complex molecule that when given to rats destroys their small intestine. Americans consume average 20 milligrams of wheat lectin a day. Gliadin also unlocks the normal intestinal barrier, allowing lectin into the bloodstream, causing serious damage, autoimmune disorders, and inflammation. Removing wheat gluten can improve weight loss, lower blood sugar, reduce appetite, reduce joint pain and inflammation, improve cognitive functions, reduce anxiety and food obsessions, reduce blood pressure, reduce triglycerides, increase energy, and improve sleep. Gluten-free solutions. Eating gluten-free is a great start. However, processed gluten-free foods contain potentially harmful ingredients like potato, rice, tapioca, cornstarch that raise blood sugar almost as high as wheat amylopectin A. Eat single-ingredient non-grain foods as much as possible. Green vegetables especially, and alkaline grains such as quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, and millet. Of course, Omega brand hemp super whole foods are essentially the best natural source of critical nutrients. Protease, plant-sourced digestive enzymes, can be strong enough to break down gluten, so when consumed in large doses between meals, these powerful enzymes go in and break down the undigested materials, relieving celiacs and others of gluten-eating disorders. Hemp seed foods have amazing source of this foundational nutrients of amino acids and fatty acids and enzymes that can help break down gluten. You are what you eat. Welcome to our family values.